Did you know that nuclear energy accounts for around 20% of all the electricity produced in the United States? Nuclear energy powers a very major share of U.S. electricity. Due to this, it is a very significant part of everyone's life. In fact, there is a nuclear power plant only a 20-minute drive away from Lakeland. As someone who is deeply interested in clean energy, I find this topic especially relevant. My purpose in this speech is to convince to you that nuclear energy is the best energy source. First, I will discuss why it is necessary for society to find a new power source to rely on. Then, I will discuss why nuclear energy in particular is the best choice. Reasons for this include its low land use, reliability in all conditions, and high power output. Finally, I will discuss reasons against arguments that oppose nuclear energy. These include protections that prevent certain disasters from ever occurring again, and an overall very small death count. Firstly, I'll discuss why a new power source is needed and why this discussion is even relevant. As you can see in this pie chart, most, specifically 86.7%, of the world's power comes from fossil fuels. These include coal, natural gas, and oil. So why are fossil fuels bad? According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, burning fossil fuels accounted for 93% of total human-caused CO2 emissions in the United States. Carbon dioxide emissions are a very big environmental issue. CO2 is a greenhouse gas, meaning it traps heat. Emissions of CO2 are one of the primary causes of global warming. Because of this, it is important to find an alternative energy source to power society. Next, I will talk about the reasons why nuclear energy specifically is the best option. There are many alternatives to fossil fuels, including hydroelectric, wind, and solar. But for a few reasons, nuclear stands above the rest of them as the best source. First, nuclear is appealing because it requires far less land than other energy sources. According to NEI, wind farms require up to 360 times as much land area to produce the same amount of electricity as a nuclear facility would, and solar facilities require up to 75% times the land area. Shown in the graph right here, you can see the difference in the land required. The intense need for land for other power sources is one reason why nuclear energy could be favored over wind and solar. Using nuclear energy could free up land for other purposes and is overall much more efficient. Another reason is due to nuclear power's high energy output compared to other sources. The National Public Utilities Commission says nuclear energy produces on average 84 megawatt hours per hour. This is a much larger amount of energy than wind, solar, and hydroelectric power, and as you can see in this graph, the difference here is extreme. The sheer amount of power nuclear produces makes it a much more viable source of power for society to rely on. Other sources might not be able to produce enough energy to power the world. Finally, nuclear plants can operate reliably and in all conditions. Other clean energy sources do not always consistently produce energy. Some examples of this include run-of-the-river hydroelectric plants that can only produce electricity when the flow of the river is strong enough, solar panels which can only function in sunny conditions, or the fact that turbines can only generate electricity when there's enough wind. Compare those to nuclear, which can produce power at all times. The consistency of nuclear in all conditions makes it an optimal source. Due to these three reasons, nuclear energy stands out as the best clean energy source. Finally, I will talk about potential concerns with nuclear energy and why these worries are insignificant. First, the safety of reactors has improved immensely. In the past, there have been a few nuclear disasters that have remained in the public consciousness. These include Chernobyl, Fukushima, and the 3 Mile Island disaster. However, most of these disasters happened a long time ago. The issues in nuclear power that led to these disasters have long been fixed. There are now new safety protocols and systems to prevent disasters, as well as ways to minimize danger in the unlikely case something did go wrong. Currently, the newest reactors are called Generation 3 reactors. As reported by AZO Cleantech, Gen 3 reactors use safety features like core catchers, upgrades to the control room, and being overall passively safer. And these new features lead to nuclear overall being much safer. In fact, the death rate for nuclear energy is incredibly low. According to IAEA, only 0.03 people die per every terawatt hour of nuclear energy produced. Compared to other energy sources, which you can see on this graph, this is incredibly low. Nuclear energy is in fact the second safest energy source listed here, only beaten by solar. While people may be concerned about the safety of nuclear power, that is easily proven wrong with statistical evidence. To conclude, the purpose of my speech has been to persuade you why nuclear energy is the best power source for the future. Nuclear energy stands out for a few reasons. A switch away from fossil fuels is necessary. and nuclear power stands out from other clean energy sources due to its low land use, high power output, and reliability in all conditions. Concerns about nuclear energy, while common, are not based in much reason due to nuclear safety improvements over time and extremely low death rate. And if you are serious about slowing climate change or reliably powering society, it is paramount that we push for the expansion of nuclear power. Thank you.